everybody. So today I thought that we would do a recap on what I read in January and also the list of the books that I'm really excited for February. So I hope that you will join me. I am Michelle. This is Silver Colored Glasses, and on this channel we talk about everything aging, seniorhood, living alone, traveling, and entering the next phase of our lives. My dog is running around, so I apologize for the background noise. So in January, I read, I started 10 books and I finished 7 of them. And one was a total DNF, one was a put down and maybe visit the next time, and one was just a take a break kind of a book. So I will tell you what those are. But of the 7, I wanted to talk to you about my most favorite. Now, the one that I was the most enthralled with and adored the most, we'll talk about at the end, but it was the very first book that I read in January. And so what a way to start out the new year. So one of the ones that I started this in January was a series of 3 books. It's a trilogy called The Fourth Wing, and it has been pretty well received. It looks like in the bookish communities, and it is a coming of age series, and it is a mystery kind of a book as well, series as well. The fourth one, The Fourth Wing, is the first book in the series, and it introduces us to our main female character, who is the daughter of the commander of the Dragon Riders in this realm. And she is trying to decide what she wants to do. She has been raised to have one role, and now she is sort of thrown into the writers section, and she's not sure if she's going to be able to cut it. So it talks about her fears around that, and then she starts to learn. What I loved so much about this book are the dragons and the relationships that they form with the writers, that the dragons choose their writers. And so she has a dragon that chooses her, and there's an extra bonus dragon in there that is just darling. And so I just love this first book. The second book was one of the ones that I mentioned that I had to put down for a little while. And so that one we'll talk about here in a little while, but it was a very different book. It's not that I didn't like it, it was just much more detailed, and so we'll talk about that here in just a minute. So that was book number 1 that I loved, The Fourth Wing. Highly recommend. The next one is another series that I started, also a trilogy. This is a mystery romance, and it is set during the Camelot times, and so the Arthurian realm, and it was just magical. The first book is called My Name is Morgan, and it introduces us to, again, the female heroine of the story. She goes through an awful lot of losses in the beginning of the book, and then she finds out just by surprise that she has some magical healing powers. And so the first book is talking about those powers and how they develop, and how her family is connected to Arthur and Guinevere in Camelot, and how they're navigating through all of that. And she is part royal and part civilian, and it's really just a heartwarming story, very action-packed. There was a little bit of romance beginning, slow burn romance in the first book. Then I finished that book and went on to the second book, which was called La Fée, and that is a nickname that they bestow on Morgan as a new identified healer in their community. And she is introduced to another healer, and they work on their powers together, and there's a lot of conflict going on, and she is thrust into the royal part of her lineage, and how all of that develops. Really exciting, really fun book. And the romance develops again, or continues in this story and develops much stronger in this next one. And then the third one is called The Storm Over Camelot, and the whole story comes to fruition, how the conflicts in her family are intertwined with Arthur and Guinevere and their kingdom, and just really heartwarming, very fun, magical mystery series. And so the only thing I will say, and I'm not going to do any spoilers, but the ending felt a little rushed to me, a little too quick to tie up. I would have liked a little bit more really around I really needed some more emotions from the characters about what was happening. It seemed like the last few chapters were very difficult things were happening, and there was such a rush to tie up the ending that the real emotions that you would have believed that those characters would have experienced weren't there. So that was the only thing, though. I really just didn't truly love this series. So I would again highly recommend. Another one that I read was it's actually a part of a series, but they're standalone books, and they are the Gulf Coast series, and I love any book that has to do with the ocean and ocean cottages, and the first one in this series is called the Gulf Coast Cottage, and then the second book that I read was Gulf Coast Secrets. And it's about a middle-aged woman who finds out that her husband has been having an affair. And so they start going through a divorce. She finds herself homeless, very strapped for money, and then gets word that one of her beloved aunts has passed away. And so she goes back to the Gulf Coast to be with her family and grieve her aunt. And then she finds out that her aunt has left her summer cottage that she spent a lot of time in, and it's just how the story develops around that. And so she decides to move there. She doesn't have any ties anymore. Her kids are grown to where she was living prior to her divorce, and so she just packs up and moves to the cottage. And so that's what the first book is. And again, just a little bit of a romance starting, but really kooky characters that are developing, and really just a lovely little very quick read book. And then the second one, Gulf Coast Secrets, was the second one, and it just continues the story. And in this one, she's developing the cottage. She's updating it. She hires a handyman that actually was a handyman for her aunt, and that's where the romance starts with the two of them. And then her children come to visit, and it's just a very heartwarming family focused, very nice little, very quick read, which I really enjoyed. And then for the most favorite book of January, and the very first book that I read was the Remarkably Bright Creatures, and it was such a lovely, delightful novel. It is about a middle-aged lady again, who actually she's retired, and she finds herself after a loss of her husband. She has she had a grown son too, and so she finds herself feeling kind of lonely. She gets a job as a night janitor at the local aquarium, and she just falls in love with all the creatures that she's taking care of and cleaning around, and she talks to them like they're humans, and she develops this amazing relationship with the large Pacific octopus in the aquarium. His name is Marcellus, and he is incredibly bright, and he has figured out how to identify patterns of the humans that come through the aquarium. He watches them. He picks up on their patterns, and so he develops a way to sort of communicate with Tova, the main character, and their relationship is just delightful. And you get the point of view of Tova, the main character, but then also the point of view of the octopus and his insights and what he's noticing and what his thoughts are. And he's kind of a grumpy old man, and I just love that. I would have loved the whole book to be from his point of view. he figures out how to sneak out of his tank at night, and he goes into the other tanks and eats what he considers the most delicious creatures that they're not feeding him in his own tank. And then he visits everybody, the other creatures, and he also picks up little trinkets that he finds on the floor that the visitors have left, and he hides them in his little den. And it's a story of grief and loss, but it's also a story of found relationships, kind of a found family, finding support around you as you can, and just sort of a second chance kind of a story. But it's just lovable and delightful, and I hope that you will take the chance to look at it and read it. Sorry. One of the things that I didn't say about the Remarkably Bright Creatures novel is that it's now being made, I've heard, into a movie. And it's starring Sally Field, which I think is just a lovely choice in casting for the main character, Tova. And I just can't wait, if that's going to be the case, to be able to see that movie after loving the book so much. The three that I didn't finish, I mentioned already the Iron Flame, which is the second in the series after Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarrow. And that one I put down and just took a break from because it was so incredibly detailed. So the first book was more about the character development and showing you the world around the dragons and the world that they were living in and around the main character. The second book is a lot more about the conflicts that they're facing, the dragon riders or the fighters of their system, of their community. And so it talks a lot, very in detail, about the conflicts that they're facing. So it got a little bit away from the characters that I love so much and the dragons, the specific dragons so much. The one that I love so much is a little baby dragon, and she is sleeping because she's almost, it's kind of like a hibernation as they're coming of age. And so she's not as much of a part of the book this time around. So I just kind of found myself sort of having not really difficulty following along, but it just did catch my attention as much. But I am going to finish it because I was told that the actual that people that have finished the series, the book 3 is the most favorite of the series. So I've got to get through this book. I'm about halfway through, and then I will go into the next one. I think it's called something Storm is the third book. So looking forward to that. So that's one that I put down, took a break, but I'm going to start again here in February. Another one that I started that I do intend to finish, and this is the only one that I have in hardback. I forgot to mention that I do count the books that I listen to on audio because this last summer I got very ill. And I've had a lot of difficulties with my eyesight since then. And so I'm having trouble finding ways that I can still read hard copy books. So I'm listening to a lot of audiobooks. So I'm counting those. I don't know if everybody does. I know that some people don't consider that actual reading, but I'm sure having fun with it, and hope to be able to get back to the actual physical books because, you know, I think I mentioned in the first video that I did on books, just that feeling of holding the book in your hand, the physical book, and turning the pages and seeing your progress and having that story develop in your mind, you know, for me is just magical. So I want to get back to that. So the one that I do have in hard copy though is Midnight Library. And I did start it. I got about a quarter of a way through it, I think. And I was really, really looking forward to this book. I had read a lot of the reviews, watched a lot of the reviews on YouTube, and just thought this was exactly right up my alley. So I was really looking forward to it. I did find that I had a little trouble with it keeping my focus and keeping my attention. And I think it's just in the beginning of the book. So I am going to continue it. I just put it down for a little while. The story behind this book is that it's a woman who passes away, and she finds herself in sort of this in-between place of death and the beyond, whatever that is. And she is stuck in what they call the Midnight Library. And this place that she's at has a whole library of books, obviously, and every book is a part of her life and a decision that she made in her life. And the choice that she's given in this in-between sort of space that she's in is to go back and revisit some of those decisions that she made. And would she choose to change her decision if she had the opportunity, knowing that it would then change the whole projection of her life if she changed that one decision, and would she go back? And so she's able to revisit some of the main choices that she made in her life. And you know, sometimes there's always a thought of, you know, if I had taken a different path, what would my life have been? And so she gets the opportunity to do this. So it's a really fun premise, a really interesting look at the decisions that we make in our lives, and if we had a chance, would we go back and change those or not? So she has that opportunity to revisit that. So I think that this is going to be a really good book. I was just, for whatever reason, having some difficulty really connecting with the story, but I will let you know after I read this. So this is what I'm going to read in February. Looking forward to it. And then the last one that I put down, this is actually a DNF for me. This was called Language of Flowers, The Language of Flowers. And it is by Vanessa Diffenbaugh. And I, again, was really looking forward to this book. It just seemed like, I'm a big gardener, and I love flowers, and just thought that this seemed like such a great story. It's about a young girl who finds herself homeless and doesn't have anywhere to go, and so she goes to a local park to sleep on the bench, and she just sort of takes up residence there. And as she's trying to get a job and trying to get a hold of her life, she plants a little garden in the place that she's been holding up in the park. And so as things start to grow in the park, she finds that she has a real talent for growing things and a real love for the flowers that are coming up. And so as the book develops, that talent of hers develops into her using flowers as gifts and as conversation pieces. And sorry, the dog's running around again. And how flowers really become the central to her communication and to her life. And I just, I couldn't seem to get connected with the character. The story seemed to be very flat, I guess. And so I had some difficulty with that. So I don't know that I'll finish that one. It just didn't seem like it was what I had anticipated. So have any of you guys watched or read that? If you have, let me know in the comments. Did you finish it? And is it something that I should go ahead and pick up again? All right, so those are the ones that my most favorites and my least favorites out of January. I wanted to let you know what I'm going to be reading in February. I already mentioned a couple. The Midnight Library I'm going to finish. Iron Flame I'm going to finish from the series. So those are already on my list. One that I'm really looking forward to is called Switch. And I talked about this in my wrap up for 2025, that I had found this book, and I think it's going to be a really fun book. And it's about a grandmother and a granddaughter who decide to switch lives. They're both struggling where they're at, and the grandmother is in her 80s and has just turned 80, and she's just looking for adventure. She's looking for what to do in this last phase of her life, and the young girl is struggling with some losses, some grief that she's experienced, and with her job, and just really wanting a change. So they decide to switch lives and live in each other's homes. One is in the city, one is in the country. And so I just thought that would be a really fun idea to explore. One of my favorite movies, if you haven't watched it, I would really recommend it. It's called The Holiday, and it has Kate Winslet and Cameron Diaz in it, and it's a Christmas movie, and they decide to switch places. Cameron lives in, and her character lives in California. She's a famous movie producer, and Kate lives in England in a little cottage in the country. Just a minute, the dog needs to go outside. Okay, got the dog settled. All right, one that I'm looking forward to in February is called Hot Flash, and it's spelled H-A-W-T, and it's by Blair Bryan. And it's a series, again, 3 books, trilogy, and it's a strong female heroine, middle-aged, it says, and it's a fantasy book, and it's centered around a female character who is ready for a change. They said that it's a second chances kind of a romance fantasy book, and I'm really looking forward to that one as well. And then another one is called Everything is Probably Fine, and it's by Julia Julia London. And this book I think is going to be really fun. It is about a female character who is a very dynamic, very successful female in her career, and she gets in trouble at work because she has been very negative and difficult to work with, she's told. And so they send her away. Instead of firing her, they send her away to a month-long mental health sort of day treatment program there, where she's supposed to rest and rejuvenate and get her attitude back on track. And she is not wanting to do it. She is dreading it. She's very snarky about it. And I think this character is going to be right up my alley. Okay, another book that I'm looking forward to that is actually being also made into a movie this year called The People We Meet on Vacation, and it's by Emily Henry. I haven't read any of Emily Henry's books, so I'm looking forward to that. I've seen some reviews about some of her others, and really wanting to get into this one. This one is a contemporary romance. It's about a male and a female who are best friends. They've been traveling together and companions for 10 years, and then they have a falling out on one of their vacations and don't speak for 2 years. And so the female character finally reaches out and wants to try to reconnect and fix things between the two of them. So she talks him into going on vacation one more time with her to see if they can work out their relationship. And it looks like it's maybe a second chance romance, possibly, and really looking like it has some really cute characters in it. So that's one that I'm going to pick up very quickly. And then one called Magical Midlife Madness by K.F. Brain. This one is about another midlife woman, trying to read a little bit more of those. This is a sort of a do-over story, and she sees an opportunity to start things over again and create a new life for herself. And so I thought this one might be really fun as well. And then the last one, I downloaded this one on my Kindle because I'm having some eyesight issues. Somebody suggested trying a Kindle with the increased font, and so I bought one and I'm going to try it. And so I downloaded this first one on my Kindle, and it is called A Dragon Rider's Guide to Retirement. And it's about an older gentleman who has retired from being a dragon rider, and he is looking for a peaceful retired life, and he meets this sort of overzealous, overbearing woman who used to be a witch in their community, and she wants to start a friendship with him, and he's just not sure if he wants to do that or not. So it's about the conflict between the two of them, and them finding each other and becoming friends, and creating sort of a life after retirement for themselves and for each other and with each other. So looking forward to that.
Look what I got in the mail. So excited, I've been waiting. Look at this bookmark. How pretty. Sticker. Look at this book, you guys. Oh my gosh. I cannot wait to read this book. It's magical. It's got the first three books in the Gilded City series. House of Ash and Shadow, House of War and Bone, and House of Light and Ether. So, so pretty. Ooh, look at that.
So that's my wrap up. I will put all of those pictures up for you to see. I hope that you enjoy this. If you did, put the books that you're reading down in the box below. If you've read any of these, let me know what you thought of them. And I really appreciate you joining me today. I'll see you next time. Thanks.